Alright, everybody, welcome back to another This Week at Bungie, aka TWAB, aka Where TWAB. And this is the fourth one of Season of the Risen, alongside the Witch Queen. And we'll just dive right in. I'm once again alongside G3 Tyrant
Yo,
and Pistachio.
Hello.
So, with this one, they said there's a decent bit to talk about, but to be honest, it's actually a fairly short TWAB. But they said, once again, welcome to their weekly installment of Bungie News. They're going to be upfront. They've been spending a lot of time diving deeper and deeper into the Witch Queen and Season of the Riven, between the Vow of the Disciple raid, PsyOps Battlegrounds, weekly repeatable story missions, the Throne World secrets, Master Vox Obscura, Wellspring, Iron Banner, Altar of Reflections, and the rituals. It's difficult to think of how to kick off the TWAB because there's just so much to do. I said over the last few weeks, the Vanguard has entertained a shaky alliance with Keitel, aka Caitlyn, with a C, and the Cabal. A trusted scion has been exploring the minds of Hive lieutenants in the tower, searching for clues on what the Lucent Brood are planning, and the final PsyOps battleground has been revealed on the moon, and Saladin is calling for Guardians to stop whatever the Hive have started within the walls of the Scarlet Keep. So if you haven't logged in this week, now's your time. The Iron Banner has returned with the power-enabled 6v6 combat. However, do know that your seasonal artifact is disabled, so it's just based off of your gear. This time around, there's a new origin perk on the weapons, giving Guardians a brief moment of stealth during the hunt after defeating an enemy. They said they're still hunting for their perfect roll of the hand cannon, but their compulsive reloader kill kit combo will do just fine. Actually, that is a really nice combo because I like compulsive reloader because I am definitely one of those people that fires 3 shots and then reloads their gun. So it's an unnecessary perk, I feel, at some points, but it is at the same time kind of funny. I mean, and on a kill clip one, you get that reload even faster. Not bad. You don't have to rely on Outlaw necessarily, right? So I do kind of like that.
Yeah, like I don't personally use it because I just don't like. I feel like it'd be more of a use to me in PvP, and like I just don't like. I haven't gotten to a point of building out my PvP stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But like it did, I don't know, when I'm doing PvP or PvE stuff, it like I unload my clip till the end.
Yeah.
I don't care if there aren't any enemies left. I'm finishing off the clip.
Yeah. For real. They said with this archetype of hand cannon, the kill clip bumps it to a 3 tap for precision shots rather than a 4, so which can be very nice. They also have the new sword, which is basically what people are deeming as the lightsaber because it has a purple huey glow to it, which is very cool. I personally am going for a Wellspring chain reaction roll on this, but the Vortex, and while I love the Vortex frame swords, just the swords have been kind of nerfed down almost a little bit too far to where I find them to be usable. Like I'll test it out and see how the chain reaction does with the Wellspring, but just in comparison to now the glaive, and then I can also rock like a grenade launcher, I'm finding it harder to need my sword or to want to use my sword when I kind of have that replaced now with the glaive. Which does suck because I was a super big fan of the sword. Fallen Guillotine didn't come off my heavy slot for like an entire year. So
I think that was for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, even after they nerfed it into the ground
thing...
a bunch of times, I still kept it on. But yeah.
And the one thing that like the enemies use to combat our swords, the knockback, has been semi-toned down. So like yeah, right now would be a huge.
I think swords still have a place in the meta. I think it's just more or less along the lines of just it's very specific in what you're doing. Not as free flow where you can just take a sword into anything and it's gonna work.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's very specific instances you can still use your sword, but it's just not as viable now. So they have a few save the dates here. They said that they were just a few days away from their 1-month anniversary already of the Witch Queen, which is just absolutely insane. As a bunch of us have blasted through the legendary campaign, and others are still dabbling in the side quests and secrets throughout the Throne Patrol area. They've got a few months of the Season of Risen left, so there's no rush in completing all the content too quickly, and finish things at your own pace and enjoy the ride. If you're wondering what's to come over the next few weeks, they would like to share a few dates here. They have some Iron Banner dates, some raid challenges, some Guardian games, and even a few Gambit labs and Trials labs. So I'm going to knock off the entire calendar here. On March 15th, which is this week, right now, we have Iron Banner and the new PsyOps Battlegrounds. Next week, with March 22nd, the Legend PsyOps Battlegrounds becomes available, and the Valve Disciple gets its challenges. On the April 1st week, the Trials Labs Zone Capture returns. April 5th, Grandmaster Nightfalls will return. April 8th, Trials Labs Freelance will be available. On April 12th, we'll have another Iron Banner. And then April 19th, the Valve the Disciple Master Difficulty will be released. April 22nd, the Trials Labs Zone Capture will be back again. Then from May 3rd to May 24th, so almost the entire month of May, the Guardian games will begin. During this time, on May 6th, Trials Labs Freelance will be back, but it will be on a community-voted map. And then on May 10th, Iron Banner will return again. And then May 20th, Trials Labs Freelance and Zone Capture will both be available. So they said stay tuned for the next week in Bungie within the game for future announcements. They might even have a few Bungie bounties and community playdates to look forward to in April. So just a quick list of kind of what's to be expected. I'm guessing they're kind of laying this down because maybe people were expecting something bigger to come with the story, perhaps, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think now that we have the third and final PsyOps for this season, we'll just be getting bits and pieces of the story of the or the Season of the Risen story. But from this point on, I think it's just going to be more of just kind of finish everything and unlock everything. But basically, everything is kind of unlocked now in the game, and for the next couple months, you just kind of finish it at your own pace, which usually happens with the seasons that the expansions launch with. They're usually not necessarily as fully into it as some of the other seasons have kind of felt, because they necessarily don't need to be, because they have the expansion along with it. Although I'll say, like, the Season of the Risen has been fairly strong narrative wise as far as they do go. So I'm expecting these seasons to continue just knocking it out of the park with the narrative, because they have been for like the last year. Excuse me, specifically. So, but I wouldn't really expect anything big story wise dropping in the next little bit, especially with Guardian games coming and taking up the entirety of May. They're really not going to drop anything at that point, and they didn't say anything about it coming in April either. So I don't see anything coming big story wise. So do you have anything to say on those points, fellas?
No, you're absolutely right on those. You shouldn't expect anything. Although I'm not a fan of, honestly, Guardian game. Never been. So
Fair enough. Yeah. I wonder if they've changed how it's done this year. We'll find out. That every year, it's the first year, they did it one way. It didn't really work as much as well, so they adjusted it. And then the second year, last year, they had a different system, which people also weren't a huge fan of either. So I guess we'll really see. We'll have to see how they balance it, I guess. So, because they've obviously the stats show like there's more hunters that play the game than other classes, so you have to make it fair. But then people will be like, oh, you get more. It's easier for Titans to farm it, or easier for Hunters to farm it, because, or Warlocks, sorry, because they get like a higher multiplier. But it's like, well, that's because it has to even it out for everybody. People don't
I just don't
that.
feel like the Guardian game's idea works. Period. Like, I just don't think it's something that can work within the confines. I finally beat this boss in Elden Ring. I'm so sorry. But I don't think it's something that can necessarily work within the confines of just like, hey, you get this allotted amount of points, and this team gets a boost because they're in last place. And I'm sure after the Titans lost the way that they did, players are going to look back and now they're going to be like, if they bring back the old system, then how do we expose this again and make it to our benefit, right? No one's going to try and do this like in some honorable way or anything like that. And regardless of how you buff, nerf the gain rates for points for the players and stuff like that, I don't think you're ever going to find a medium where you're going to be like, yeah, this is perfect, this works. So I just think the concept of Guardian Games as its own entity, I don't think it works. I think they need to do Guardian Games in a way where it's not so much subclasses, I guess, competing against one another, because if you're not going to make it a Crucible-based thing, then why do it at all? Like, I get that, PvE players need to participate in it in some shape or form, but that's what they have the raid, they got psyops, they got everything. Give us something, right? Where it's like you create a playlist, and you do it Hunters versus Titans versus Warlocks inside playlist, and it forces you to be teams with, and regardless of balance or not, you guys are just competing, right? Yeah. So that's just the way I probably would have done it. I would have just made it a PvP event, but what do I know?
It's tough. It is tough, and it especially to please all aspects of the crowd. So yeah, I don't know what to say. It's definitely not
another half-baked idea.
No, like, it's easy to say that, like, I know a lot of people like to harp on that because they in that one Vidoc there, like, we don't want to ship something half-baked, and then a bunch of the stuff that's been shipped out has felt half-baked at best. So it is hard. Like, game development is not easy, so... But at the same time, they are a massive studio and now with Sony backing them, they have a lot of extra funds to work with, I would assume. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. I just want to say too that this entire expansion and Season of the Risen, all of this was from them working at home, the past 2 years because of COVID. So this is something that they were also the best. This is the best they've ever dropped, and it's something that they were also able to push out at home, which I think is something to be said about, because it's. I feel like maybe they didn't have as many restraints being at home as they would have in the office, and it allowed them to be a bit more creatively free, perhaps. I'm not sure. But whatever it was, keep doing it, because Destiny is just absolutely incredible right now. And I can't stop playing it. But let's move on. They want to talk about crafting, the weapon crafting system. They said, since the launch of Witch Queen, they've been watching a lot of the feedback on the crafting currencies required for a specific trait. One piece of feedback is in the particular deals with crafting element caps. Some players have been maxing out their elements quite frequently, so starting on next Tuesday with hotfix 4.0.0.4, they'll be increasing the element caps from 250 to 1,000, and for neutral element, the cap will move from 8,500 to 10,000. So the 250 to 1,000, that is a nice little... increase. I still don't think a cap is necessary, or an extra 750 doesn't feel like it's going to be a ton, but we'll see. And 8,500 to 10,000 does not seem like a big cap difference to me at all. But again, we'll have to see how it kind of feels in game. Next season, they are removing Ruinous, Adroit, Mutable, Drowned, and Energetic elements. Only neutral elements will remain. Their initial goals for these currencies were to sustain the interest in non-crafted weapon drops and to retain the chase of weapons with well-rolled perks in post-crafting Destiny 2. The desire was that the player would continually chase for combinations such as a Subsistence plus Rampage to fuel their crafting progression through the deep sight weapon completion. While not the only reasons that they're removing the specific currencies, there were two design changes pre-launch that made the elements ineffectual. So they had initially had a currency perk trait, or a currency per trait perk. Example, to craft Rampage, you needed a weapon with Rampage. However, due to technical and usability issues, too many currencies to track, for example, they opted to heavily simplify the element currencies to the handful that they shipped with at launch. This unfortunately resulted in a decreased interest in chasing a specific trait perk element. Ascendant alloys, the exotic quality crafting materials that can be found through the high-end content or purchased from Raoul for a high price, made the remaining condensed elements obsolete, and the ascendant alloy currency was added after they had already condensed the elements, and they were unable to resolve the expirational issue, between the two currencies prior to launch. So specific elements such as the ruinous and android became redundant, and in some cases it conflicted with the ascendant alloys and the neutral elements, so they're removing it all together. So this was what the original crafting concept was. Like, I do remember when they were initially were talking about it, they had stated that, yeah, if you wanted a very specific trait like Rampage, you would have to keep farming the gun until you got Rampage, then extract the Rampage perk from the gun, and then it would allow it into the pool for your perks. Obviously, that's not the case now. We just have all of the perks unlocked, and it's just about getting the gun and then using the gun enough to put said perks on it. So that definitely would have made it a much more rich system, but it also would have been a hell of a lot more grindy, because then you're not only looking for the red box gun to get the blueprint for the gun, you're also now looking for one that has the exact trait that you want on it specifically. Although if it didn't have to be a red box, if you could just get it from like a regular version of it, then that's not necessarily as bad, depending on how often it drops. But
I mean,
yeah, like it would have been easy just to up the rates. Yeah, like it would have been easier to up the rates and like in both situations, because again, like, yeah, I've spent every single, like, I've now reset my psyops 3 times, and have spent every single risen umbral material or whatever trying to buy sweet sorrows, because I have yet to get one from actually doing, like, from the psyops runs.
Yeah.
And like I still don't have enough to craft the damn thing, so
yeah. So it would have been quite a bit different of a system. I know a lot of people had some issues with the current system. So, but the main reason they had it with the current system is just the cap on all, and they're now filling up your postmaster with red boxed weapons that you've just completed, just to wait to dismantle them and get the pieces, which I guess if a bunch of them would be the ruinous or the adroit alloys, then since they're unnecessary and we don't use them, then a bunch of those weapons can probably just be dismantled anyways now.
To be honest with you, with this whole crafting thing, man, like, I just don't like it, because I feel that if they had given us something more like, if you want Rampage, you have to get weapons with Rampage, I am more likely to get a weapon with Rampage right now than to get the deep sight weapon that I'm looking for instead of in like seasonal event. Like, to be honest with you.
But what if you had to do both?
Craft?
But that's the thing, like, if they didn't, you don't have to make it both. If it was simply get a gun with Rampage, get X amount of kills with gun, like, with gun that has Rampage on it, and unlock perk, done. Super simple.
But that just unlocks the Rampage perk. How do you still unlock the blueprint for the gun?
I still think the blueprint for the gun, I feel like the gun blueprints should have just came with using said weapon, regardless of deep sight or not. Like, I just feel like the deep sight thing is a massive issue, because
so just any version, just get X amount of kills, just use it till the level 10, and now you can craft it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, that's even if they made it like COD camos, where I have to get X amount of headshots with the gun to unlock a certain perk, like, yo, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
like instead of me, like, sitting here hunting for a red box weapon that, like, again, like, I may never get.
I've already had to increase the drop rate on, and it's still not great.
And it's still not great.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really bad.
Yeah, I completely see where you guys are coming from, and honestly, it doesn't the way you guys are describing it, it doesn't sound like that bad of a system either. So, like for things like threat detector, you need crouched kills or something to get the threat detector or something, you know, like. But
I'm just saying, like, they just need to create a new way to unlock these things and still incentivize us for wanting to get said perks and stuff like that, because it's like, To be honest with you, even if, let's say, we wanted something like pulse monitor, that's ideally like not everybody wants pulse monitor. So it's like it gives us options of what specifically what we're looking for and what we're trying to get. Like
Yeah.
if you're trying to say, hey, well, everyone's gonna go after kill clip and outlaw, and it's like we're doing that already anyway. So you don't lose anything in that regard either.
Exactly.
It's just you create a more streamlined experience for us to actually go and chase exactly what we're looking for. And it potentially could have been way more accessible than what we're doing now, to be honest. Because it's like, again, we have to wait for said deep sight weapon. We have to get 3 or 5 of said deep sight weapon. Then we have to shape deep sight weapon into the level based weapon. Then we have to work on getting the weapon to level 10, 15, 16, whatever the case may be, to even unlock the enhanced perks. Then we have to go and reshape it, which again, it's like everything is so heavy in cost. Like it goes back to why do we have the caps?
Very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like why do we have why do we have to deal with caps? Then we have to deal with all of this grinding just to get maybe like 2 enhanced perks, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? And chances are, like I was saying to you guys yesterday in the chat, you're more likely to get the god roll you want on said weapon just by getting it normally.
Yes.
As opposed to crafting it.
Yep. It's just the god roll can't drop with the enhanced perks. However, a lot of people said the enhanced perks don't really help that much. It's not like that noticeable of a difference where people are like, you have to use this one over it because you're just not going to do the same damage. So we're talking like minimal percentile efficiency apparently for them.
And it's not even like there's enhanced kill clip, enhanced rampage, or anything from what I've seen. I've seen a few other.
I think
like,
there's enhanced rampage, yeah, because
like
I believe I have enhanced rampage on my glaive with enhanced grave robber.
So I mean, again, if one stack of rampage you put that on a 120 and it's enhanced rampage, maybe it'll go back to 2 tapping. I don't know, but like we don't have a hand cannon that's going to be able to do that. So
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
It could have been different. So we'll see if it keeps changing. They say here that since launch, they've obviously been watching the player conversation and keeping tabs on the back end data. So they're looking to add more player control over deep sight weapon unlocking of weapon patterns. Continue to monitor the deep sight weapon stockpiling, acquisition rates progression, as well as the resonant alloy acquisition rates and behavior. And they're also discussing the feedback around reshaping costs for those who wish to experiment more frequently with their trait selection. So, but kind of exactly what we just kind of touched on, saying like exactly how expensive it is. It's like you can't even play around with reshaping and testing out new stuff because it's so expensive. And then it's like, oh, I want to reshape it. Oh, I just spent 200 of my 250. Now I have to go grind a bit more because they only allowed me to cap it at 250. Yeah.
Like it's a little overbearing. Like again, I'm out here. I remember when I had to reshape the pulse rifle, the white one. I don't remember what it's called now, but it's the stasis one.
Syncopation.
And and I'm sitting here looking through wiki after wiki, YouTube video after YouTube video to make sure. Okay, is this the god roll or is this the god roll? I don't want to be out here wasting my ascended alloys out here. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's a very nerve-wracking experience. Like you don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
Well, what I've been doing, like in all honesty, I haven't really been paying attention to the costs. But what I've been doing is if I want the enhanced trait and like I'm unsure between 2 of them, I'll put on the base one first, play around with the weapon, change it to the other one, play around with it, make my decision between the 2 base perks on which enhanced one I'm going to get.
And you're still using a truckload of resources to do that, which again you already stated you're not really looking at the cost efficiency of it, right? So
yeah, but like I've saved a good 80% of my augmented weapons. Like so it's if I need material, I'm betting that I'll have it.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on from there, we have hot fixes. So we have the hotfix 4.0.0.4 coming in on Tuesday, March 22nd. So normally at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Destiny 2 will go down. Will begin the maintenance. It'll be brought offline at 9:45. The hotfix will roll out at 10, and then at 11 it'll be done the maintenance. However, at 10 o'clock you'll be able to log back in. It's just the back end maintenance, generally speaking, is not done till 11. They say the Bungie Rewards Vow the Disciple jacket is ending soon, so players who completed the Vow the Raid Disciple will have until March 31st to order the jacket, but you have to have completed the raid by March 15th, so you will have to have already completed the raid if you want to purchase this jacket. If you haven't completed the raid yet, you've missed your window, and you will no longer earn the raid jacket. I am sorry. The known issues, they say the Synaptic Fanatic Triumph may not unlock for some characters after unlocking the 25 artifact mods. Players can log into an alternate character to complete this triumph if the character hasn't already yet unlocked all the mods, and they are investigating a fix if all characters have unlocked the mods and still haven't received the triumph. The armor offered by vendors has had low roll stats. This includes tower vendors as well as Xur. They're investigating as to why. They're currently investigating the increase in marmot errors. The Season 15 Pathfinder and the Season 15 Lightkin armor sets are no longer available to equip as ornaments if previously unlocked via armor synthesis. I was literally just talking about this because I couldn't find my my chest piece and my arms, so I think, for the Pathfinder, so I was wondering where they went. Because I completed the entire Season Pass and unlocked all of the ornaments. And even if I hadn't unlocked them through the armor synthesis, they're just not even there for me to unlock with an armor synthesis anymore. So
yeah, it happened to Javon, and actually, surprisingly enough, it was the last Guardian games. He lost one of the armor cosmetic sets for it.
Yeah,
for a little while,
which is just not cute. So they say the yellow color for subtitles on the PS5 platform either isn't noticeable or doesn't appear anymore and only shows white text. Players who go flawless in trials aren't receiving any post-win weapons or rewards. Mementos aren't dropping for players in trials. Players aren't receiving credit for Vow of Disciple raid carries. Some players can't change their Bungie name. And the One of Us emblem doesn't appear in the collections. So quite a few things. There is more at the known issues article, but these are the main kind of ones that they just wanted to mention here and that they are hoping to fix. Not necessarily are going to be fixed in the next patch, but they are looking into these.
I hope the trials one is fixed in the next patch.
Yeah, I mean, the mementos are not dropping is pretty rough because like these mementos are new things that people are really looking forward to. That adds like a specific thing to the gun. Like I know there's a Gambit one, and I think there's one for strikes and in general Crucible as well, but I'm not 100%. But also, yeah, not receiving any post-win rewards or weapons after going flawless, like that's pretty rough. Like you literally have no reason to play aside from getting the tokens.
That would anger me greatly.
Yeah.
I just want to throw it out there for anybody. Like, it wasn't mentioned in the known problems, but like I am dead convinced there's an issue with the unstoppable hand cannons. Been killed multiple times after my gun changes color. I get the sound cue. It tells me I stun the champion, but then he instantly murders me.
I think that's
if it's happening to anybody else, you're not crazy.
I think that's always been a common thing with the hand cannons. Like normally
it has been. If you Google it, you'll get things on Reddit from like 2018, and it's like, seriously?
Yeah, that's why I use Pulse
maybe
Rifle.
Not 2018, but like from the beginning of Unstoppable, it's apparently been an issue.
Yeah.
Well, the barrier. I mean, like all the champions, Unstoppables and the Overloads and everything, even the anti-barriers, they've all been a little wonky. Like at times, they're all a little wonky. Sometimes the barrier will come back and just not take damage. Other times, like he'll not take damage and there's no barrier there. The Unstoppable guy, like you said, will just keep coming at you. The Overload will keep coming at you and heal and attack, even though they're overloaded. They're always a little finicky, I found. So
definitely.
Moving on, though, we have the movies of the week, which are always fantastic. the artists of the week, which are always absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely loving everything going on with Rolk's kick right now. It's just, I know you guys might not have seen it, but afraid spoilers, but like the boss has like this kick move that he just punts people into space, and it's hilarious. So there's a ton of memes about it, and I absolutely love it. They say, to enjoy the last little bit here, they say, while many of them have been huddled inside watching the launch of the Witch Queen and Season of the Riven, they almost missed the changing of the seasons in the real world. They just changed their clocks here in the States, which still doesn't make sense to me and likely never will. They have enjoyed some spring weather between a few cold fronts and rain showers. There's still a strong desire to stay inside and level up their Forensic Nightmare SMG. I do love that SMG. It also is nice to step out some fresh air. Maintaining the balance is key to success. Sometimes Cosmo tells me to go out and admire and feel the textures of my nearby park. But he really did just say go out and touch grass. Damn. That's crazy. But they said, game hard, take care of yourselves. Sometimes take a quick break. It's all you needed after all along and being stuck on a difficult boss and higher level content. Don't we know that with Elden Ring? God damn, you hitting your head against the wall for 10 hours against the damn boss, and you come back the next day and beat him first go. Like, it happens. Sometimes you just need to take a chill and come back.
I've been stuck on this boss for 2 days. I finally did. So yeah.
Right? There you go. They say, good luck to all those who are still taking on the legendary difficulty in the Witch Queen's campaign. Cheers to those who are hopping in for the first ever Destiny raids. And I hope you're having a good time. As a quick note, the team is finalizing the list of players who qualified for the Valid Disciple contest mode emblem, and is likely to be distributed next week. Expect more information. But that'll do it for the TWAB. Any finalized thoughts here, fellows?
I think I got everything out, especially with the crafting thing. So yeah, I'm chilling.
All right. Pistachio.
Yo, give me a sweet sorrow. Like,
please. He begs of you. We'll go run some stops right now and see what happens. I need to do the story, I think, this week. But alright, that'll do it for the TWAB, everybody. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, it'd be absolutely wonderful if you could hit that like button, and please do consider subscribing to the channel for more content in the future. I'm also streaming now on Twitch at G3 Hydration. Following is free, so please come through and give me a follow. It definitely helps as I'm trying to go for affiliate, and we're on the road to 50. So very much appreciated for anybody coming in, even if you're just lurking in the stream or participate in the chat or not. Doesn't matter, just you being there is absolutely fantastic. But I just wanted to pop that in real quick. That'll do it for me, and as always, remember, like I say, remember to stay hydrated, everybody, as hydration is key.
Deuces.
Take it easy.